bamboo forests of India's Himalayas lives a solitary and mysterious creature. Rarely seen in the wild, the red panda, or fire cat, may soon disappear altogether from Earth. But if experts in India have their way, this unusual creature will be making a comeback. For the first time ever, they'll release 2 red pandas into the wild. And they'll capture on film something few have ever witnessed: the birth of a fire cat. Is there new hope for the future of the red panda? Find out in Return of the Fire Cat. In the rugged forests of the Himalayan mountains. Its scientific name translates into fire-colored cat, which is why it's commonly referred to as the fire cat. Although this shy and solitary creature needs only about 1 square mile of forest to survive, the devastation of the bamboo forests, its main food source, has placed the fire cat in danger of extinction. Today, there are less than 2,500 in the world. In India, a team of scientists hopes to turn the tide in a daring experiment. They'll release zoo-born pandas into Singalila National Park and, using radio collars, track them for a year to see how they fare. Releasing captive-bred endangered animals is difficult. Few try these experiments, and even fewer succeed. Singalila lies in northeastern India, sandwiched between the countries of Nepal and Bhutan. Dr. Sunita Pradhan, an Indian biologist, has been studying red pandas for more than 10 years. When she first began her work in Singalila National Park, she combed the forests for red pandas day after day. But in such dense undergrowth, they're virtually impossible to see. For 7 months, she didn't get a single glimpse. Then, one day, everything changed.
I'm so taken aback. I didn't know what to do. The only thing the first reaction was I had tears in my eyes. I said, my goodness, my red panda is here.
It was love at first sight. From that point on, Dr. Sunita Pradhan has worked passionately to protect India's red pandas. In 1994, the first ever census in the Singalila National Park found only about 50 red pandas struggling to survive. Concerned about the falling numbers of red pandas, the Darjeeling Zoo has joined a global captive breeding program in the hope that this will one day help boost populations in the wild. Two female red pandas, 6-year-old Sweetie and 5-year-old Minnie, have been chosen for a unique mission: to be the first zoo-born red pandas released into the wild. A team of experts has been meticulously planning this for several years, but it's still nerve-wracking. It's the first time anyone has tried such an experiment with red pandas, and there's no way of knowing how Sweetie and Minnie will cope in the wild. But it's a chance they'll have to take. If Sweetie and Minnie can survive and reproduce in the wild, then there's new hope for the red panda population in India. After detailed health and DNA tests, they're both ready for stage 1 of their release. A Hindu priest has been called in to help bid a traditional goodbye. A ritual normally performed when a daughter gets married and leaves her parental home. The priest chants Vedic verses to bless Minnie and Sweetie and wish them a long life. Minnie and Sweetie are leaving home. It's time for the slow, bumpy 5-hour journey up to Singalila. Sweetie and Minnie won't have to get used to the wild all at once. They'll spend the first 3 months in a fenced-off enclosure while they're monitored to see if they have any problems surviving outside of the zoo. First to go, Sweetie glances back as if to say goodbye. Then gets on with exploring her new world. It's not quite freedom, but it is their first taste of the wild. It's November, and the 3-month introduction has gone well. The team now fits radio collars to prepare for final release. Minnie's is black, and Sweetie's red. Dr. Pradhan's old friend and assistant, Tenzing Sherpa, who's from this area, will help her monitor Minnie and Sweetie's movements in the wild. At last, the moment Dr. Pradhan's dreamed about for so long has come. It's a proud achievement for the zoo and the forestry department, and a landmark for Indian wildlife conservation as a whole. Minnie is first and seems keen to embrace her new freedom. Sweetie, too. Minnie and Sweetie are now truly free. But what will the future hold? Even with the aid of the radio collars, it will be a challenge to track the tiny red pandas through Singalila's dense forest. Minnie and Sweetie disappear into the forests of Singalila. Will Dr. Pradhan and her team ever see them again? Find out next on Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom, only on Animal Planet. It's been a month since red pandas Minnie and Sweetie were released into the wild from the Darjeeling Zoo in northeastern India. Despite living so close together at the zoo, they've split up. Today, Dr. Pradhan's tracking Sweetie's signal. But although it tells her she's close by, she still can't spot Sweetie in the mist. This is why so many past attempts to film red pandas have failed. There are so few of them, and they're so hard to find. The team has been joined by VJ Betty, an award-winning young wildlife cameraman, determined to capture film of red pandas in the wild. Finally, they spot Sweetie. She looks healthy and relaxed. She's homed in on a good bamboo patch. The radio collar looks bulky, but weighs less than 1/4 pound. And it's the only way to track the pandas in this vast, impenetrable area. It doesn't seem to bother her at all. With the help of GPS, Global Positioning System, Dr. Pradhan can collect vital data on both the red pandas' movements and their favorite feeding areas. Sweetie seems to be exploring and has traveled 2.5 miles northwest